Welcome everybody to another exciting edition to ETE, which stands for everything else. I am the host, Marcus the Grand Finale, and I'm joined by not one, not two, not three, but
Rise for the
all.
judgment.
Three faces of Jamal. This man's here to celebrate the Judgment Day. We are
You
here.
already
If you
know I
look at
got
the
my
flag,
my
look
my,
at the
my Puerto
flag.
Rican flag. You already know. All
Yep.
right.
We're here to talk about the new era starring Damian Priest. But before we get into that, Jamal, how are you doing on this post WrestleMania 40 week?
Man, like, isn't wrestling the greatest thing ever, especially during WrestleMania?
Yeah.
Like, like people that don't watch wrestling come to me all the time now is talking about, oh, I heard this happen, I heard that happen, can you tell me more, why didn't you tell me about this? It's like, but you didn't watch. And
Yeah.
I tried to
Yeah.
tell you, and then you're like, it's fake, and then now you're like, you want all the tea now. What's going
It's
on?
two it's like three of my favorite things all rolled up in once. Pettiness and people fighting. Uh sport. It's the sports and athleticism. And then you have the drama of any movie or theater you can have out there and the storytelling. There is no way you can tell a story the way wrestling tells stories. It's so unique. It's so unique. And you know what? I have been pumped since WrestleMania. And first of all, I would like to apologize for everybody that thought this was going to be a live show. It was going to be a live show, but YouTube was having issues, and now we have to record this, and I will upload it, later today, or you won't even know when it's later today, but it's uploaded. I wanted to be live. I wanted your comments. I wanted your feedback because we have so much to talk about. And the first thing I will ask you, Jamal, what was your thoughts on WrestleMania Extra Large?
WrestleMania 40 was probably, and this is no hyperbole, because I, like, for those that do follow me and everything like that, I've been counting down the days. Every day from 39 all the way to 40, I spent 40 days and 40 nights watching all the WrestleManias back to back.
Woo! You know how many
I did
hours that is?
I did all of it. Every day was a WrestleMania a day. So seeing every single one from number one all the way to 40, this has probably got to be one of, if not the best WrestleMania I've ever seen. And
Yeah.
it's up there. It's high praise because, 17 exists, 19 exists, 18 exists, 25, like the match in 25, or like, certain
Yeah.
matches exist. So
This is up
man,
there in great moments in wrestling history with Cody Rhodes completing and finishing his story. But when they talk about finishing stories, I think of all the stories that were concluded at this WrestleMania, not just Cody's. You even had the end of an era of the tribal chief actually losing the title. And we also have the ushering of the new era of the WWE at the same time, as if we have just left phase 1 or 3 or whatever the hell we are in the Marvel Universe into the next phase without the McMahons and this new TKO brand. And I thought this just looked like big time, a big show that everybody apparently have seen or even seen clips of or are talking about, because I've been at work and I'm getting random conversations, and I was telling you earlier, people was like asking me about Jade Cargill, and I'm going, I go, what? This is pro wrestling, my friend. But the main thing is who's that and what's going on. And then I saw this, what happened here. It's a lot that's been going on, and I'm glad I could be one of the informants, and I come in with all my energy and usher this new era of pro wrestling in for people in my community. And I think every wrestling fan out there, including you, Jamal, feels validated after this WrestleMania. Is like, this is why I watch this shit. Let's go.
I always say that wrestling is the greatest love story ever told, and it's the season that never ends. I tell people all the time, like, if you don't have nothing to watch on like Netflix or Hulu, or your anime didn't drop, your season of football ended, your season of basketball ended, you can't watch college basketball because it's over. Watch pro wrestling. It never stops. It's always a
Yeah,
revolving door. And it's not just the one. There's so many others. And they just like, oh, but I don't want to watch WWE. Watch AEW.
yeah,
Watch Ring of Honor. Watch CMLL. Oh, you don't speak English? CMLL. New Japan Pro Wrestling Stardom. There's no excuse. Like there's
yeah.
like
It's
so
just
much.
like, yeah, it's just like music, food, movies, and whatnot. There's so many different genres of wrestling and styles. Like, you may say this is the new era for WWE, but I think in general they are the one that set the temperature and
The
the
pulse.
scale of who's the number one. They're the pulse, but these other promotions, this is a new era. This is a new era for AEW. This is a new era for New Japan. They're trying to recreate new stars as well. And if you do not fuck with McDonald's, which is WWE, you can always go somewhere else and get a different type of burger, and or listen to a different song. If you don't like country, here we go. We got some hip hop for you. It's a bunch of stuff in wrestling, and you know what? I'm just, this pride, this jubilation of a wrestling fan. I am pumped. I don't know. I've had this like energy to me since WrestleMania 4, since Cody finished that story. They put him on his shoulders that have propelled me to being like, fuck, man, I can't wait for the next show. Like, I'm excited for Dynamite tonight, even though I'm not a fan of this card and I'm not a fan of the release of this tape or whatnot. I just want to see more wrestling. That's it. I just want to see more wrestling.
We gonna see what the scapegoat Jack Perry did to CM Punk tonight. We're gonna see what happened. Oh
So,
man.
WrestleMania 4, as they say, ushered in a new era. It's the Paul Levesque era of running the show, and his team, basically the NXT crew, Regal, Pritchard, whoever else is out there in
Michaels,
these streets.
everyone.
Yeah, there's a whole squad. Production, like the look of the shows are a little different. I'm talking about with the camera work and doing all the unique shots and doing like
Well,
straight up
they
wonderful,
were
like
doing
good
unique
colors.
shots, all right. Freaking my girlfriend's nephew was watching WrestleMania with me, and every time, like the very first match of WrestleMania was Rhea Ripley and Becky Lynch, and I dubbed him the new nickname Teats and Cheeks because that was all that was going on in this match. Looking at the cheeks, I was like, whoa,
Well,
cameraman,
he's
know what
distracted. uh, but I want to talk about the good and bad of the new era that's coming in. I'm going to also talk about the good, like we were saying, the production, top notch, top dollar. Not to talk about the wrestler, but top dollar.
just production value alone
Yeah,
on what WWE is able to do, bringing in like there's a certain type of different scenes, like you said, like people who are into this one thing are now like, oh, asking me about this, for
yeah,
example, like Rhea Ripley brought Motionless in White out. For those that don't know, Motionless in White is this emo hardcore band, and it's Rhea
weird.
Ripley's favorite band. Just to bring them on to walk her out to the ring to sing her song, kind of like WrestleManias in the past when Triple H favorite band Motorhead playing you out.
Yeah,
Lil Wayne playing out freaking Jay Uso and all this other stuff. Like, it's great to see. That's a production win. That's a production plus.
yeah.
But like,
So, yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
but like I was saying, like, people from those scenes are now asking me about pro wrestling because of just the production.
Yeah, the production has been. I mean, you've seen it in the new Triple H era. It's been, shot after shot. They've tried stuff here and there. They were trying stuff on NXT. Little video packages are shot a little differently. Camera works a little different. But the start Mania with the Rhea Ripley intro and Becky Lynch, and you go cool camera shots, then into the band playing, then into their big entrance, then to the introduction by Samantha Irvin Ray with the camera shot. You see the giant crowd in the background, and the NFL, the 8K, whatever they call it, the Sony cam, and you just go like, oh shit, you had never got anything like that pretty much in the previous era. You just go like, oh shit, I'm psyched up for WrestleMania. Or even my favorite shot, which was the Sammy before Gunther match, which in the movie industry is a oneer. It's just like they shot him in the back. And then they shot him with his family, his kids. He's like, you gonna stay in the bed. See you out there. Love you, baby. He comes around East Corner. You see him walking all through Gorilla. He's ready to go. His music is ready to hit. Kevin Owens like, you gonna fucking kill it out there. And then his music hits and they shoot it all the way from his back. And you see the crowd from his shot. It was like, and I'm like, A+ in production from TKO. The next thing I want to talk about in this new era of WWE is that when me being a person of color, and just being a minority in general, the diversity of this show, of just like, it wasn't the previous. If you watch this for WrestleMania 1, you go, bunch of white guys fighting white guys. To this, there's so many different countries, nationalities, race, women, everything was involved in this, and you just go like, this was all inclusive WrestleMania. Even though you do have some sketchy spots of like, why the black match sponsored by fried chicken and gin and juice?
Latino got the Latino War Order.
Yeah.
What's going on?
So you do have that. And then, I would like to say this was the greatest WrestleMania if you were ever a Latino American of any kind, because not only did Priest walk away with the World Heavyweight title at the end, there it is. You had the multiple matches going on with so much like the Rey Mysterio versus Dominic Mysterio, even Karrion Kross, who represents Puerto Rico. Oh, Logan Paul, who lives in Puerto Rico, is not Puerto Rican, but he does claim it really hard. So
that colonizer needs to sit the fuck down. He's a he's a United States champion. I also have that flag, by the way.
It's also part of Puerto Rico. United States and Puerto Rico are the same. It's just not declared a state or recognized or whatnot. But it's just so many different things that I feel are positive. And then the main thing is they listen to the fans. This era, it's not
this time around.
It's not a spite show. It's not a spite show. Vince McMahon seemed to put together like spite shows. Oh, you don't want Brock? You're fucking getting Brock. Oh, you don't like Roman? You're getting Roman shoved down your throat. You don't like John Cena? Pull him all you want. I'm never turning him heel. This year, they listened to the crowd. The Rock, they were going one direction. They like swung it away, whatever you want to do. The Rock is down, a piece of shit.
How could you make 1997 happen again? Like, it's incredible how that works. Like, he's one of the top movie stars of all time, and you got people booing him. Like, this is the man that is bringing jobs to those guys in the XFL, the UFL, or the USFL league, bringing jobs to people, ballers in real life, and you're booing him. Like, what's going on?
He's done a lot of positive, but it's no, fuck you. We want Cody to finish our story, and then he switched that on the dime, and you got Heel Rock right away, and
final boss
played that to the court. The final boss, Mama Rhodes.
Mama Rhodes.
Look at you now, whipping people and cussing, and I don't fuck around, ref. I don't fuck around. And then you also have this new.
All right, we're done. No, the fuck, we're not.
We're not gonna beat his ass some more. Straight up movie scene. And you have all this positive. Jamal, I've said a lot about positives. What do you think is going to be the positives, the good of this new era?
The biggest positive is that there's a lot of younger people who are watching now that are seeing a version of themselves in the new era. So now it'll inspire them to be as good or even better than what we're seeing now. So that's a plus. Setting the next man up, setting the next woman up, the next person up. They're doing that. Then also a big positive is that they are utilizing all their stars. When I say utilizing all the stars, I'm talking about everybody had a chance to make a moment or be a moment or, do something. Like, everybody on the roster, top to bottom, had something to do with WrestleMania, as opposed to WrestleMania's past, where there's a pre-show, you're on it, and then they don't see you, and then this, that, and third. No, everybody had a chance to shine, and I really do appreciate that, especially seeing some of these guys from the beginning of their careers. Everyone from J.D. McDonough to Damian Priest, who was Punishment Martinez back in the day, Eli Drake, L.A. Knight, AJ Styles when he was up and coming. Like everybody is now full circle seeing what a star looks like now as opposed to back then. Even Naomi uh, from FCW, the Usos when they were with Tamina, like back in the gap, like people forget, like they don't even know what it took to get them to this point. And it was great to see everybody getting their flowers. Whether you won or you lost, you performed at WrestleMania, you're a winner.
Well, I don't even think it's just performing at WrestleMania. I think just being a part of this whole week that they had, it's the highest whatever grossing money wise they've ever did. But the sellout crowd for SmackDown and Raw, that they tell it down the sound, it just
Which I
looks
went
like an
to.
experience.
I
Yeah,
was there.
even the Raw after Mania, I consider like, hey, people got their credit. People got to show up on there. Like Bronson Reed may not have made WrestleMania, but he did get SmackDown Andre the Giant Battle Royal, and then he did get to wrestle at the Raw after Mania, and I feel like that worked out for it. Also, in my diversity of the greatest Latino WrestleMania ever, Cody Rhodes is 50% technically Latino with his mama being Cuban. I forgot about adding that part. Not just Damian Priest. It was just like, oh, this is a nice bookend finish. I know you're not gonna claim it. No one's gonna claim it. No one's gonna allow it. Dusty dominates that jeans.
Cody is the Black Homelander, and that's all I'm gonna say about that. He's the Black Homelander. Nobody can tell me otherwise.
But yeah, with all this good going on, I believe there's also going to be some bad that's going to come with this new era. Number one, I think ticket prices seem to be going way up there. I know you attended the go home show for Monday Night Raw. Those were probably some expensive ass tickets.
Yo, that was my whole VA check I spent on that thing.
Jeez, yeah, they may price out the little guy at this point, especially when business is hot like this for them. And I'm worried that, oh man, prices may get too high that some little kid who would end up just paying like $35 or $50 to get some decent seats at a wrestling show might get priced out because tickets are around $200 to $300, even for probably even nosebleeds. So that's some of my fear. Ads might get out of control because on WrestleMania, ads were all over the place. They weren't as obtrusive as I thought they would be, or intrusive. I don't know how to use words. But
they what they did is that they sub it in there. So instead of being like, back in the day when Stacker 2, like, it just comes off to mind, like, they would be like,
yeah,
hey, I know that we're doing this match, but Stacker 2, and it's good for you. And then like, get your Skittles today, M&M's and all this other stuff. They'll do it with just how they had Wingstop displayed on the women's match, the women's 6-man match, and I was just like, what's going on here?
It's
and then
lot.
it's like you got Logan Paul's own Prime bottle in the middle of the ring, slap dab in the middle of a WrestleMania ring. I'm like, okay.
You had a mascot of Knuckles show up from the behind and I believe this is on NXT. Giant Knuckles mascot show up advertising Knuckles on Paramount Plus. And I think they may get out of hand with some of these ads, and hopefully it doesn't get too out of hand. Like, I understand putting dew wipes on the turnbuckles or whatever, or Wingstop on the side of the ring, but just chill.
If you don't understand the concern that me and Marcus have, it's because if you ever seen RoboCop in WCW, then you understand what the fuck we're talking about. We don't need the damn
ads can get out of control. And especially with this Netflix deal coming up, where we don't know how they're going to work in commercials or ads, but they are, because Netflix don't really have ads, but they will raise their price for premium.
That's how they get us. Every subscription service that I have, I pay the extra to not have ads. I want ads, I go outside. There's a billboard, there's the store, there's my ad, there's my advertisement right there. I don't want it in when I'm sitting there. It's gonna get crazy to the point where we're gonna be playing video games, and in the middle of the game, here's an ad. It's like a commercial before you
Yep.
can
You
continue.
got to pay. You got to pay for your
You gotta
video
pay
game
them.
because it's not gonna be digital copies anymore. It's gonna be because you're online. Be like, hold on, you pause the game. Ad. Do you want to skip ad? Oh, if you want to not have this happen, you must pay a premium, and it's gonna get. I think it's gonna get out of control. I think it's gonna get out of control. And the last thing I think that's maybe a cautionary for a new era. The person running the era, the chief content officer, or whatever the hell his title is, Triple H, isn't the youngest guy anymore. He's in his 50s. I know Vince went to his 70s or whatnot, but who's his understudy? They put a lot on this Paul Levesque era, but he's already had a heart attack or heart issues. Um,
I think I got the answer to that question.
he's like making himself the face. Like they have basically anointed him to quote to be Mr. Redacted and carried him to the new wave. They have put as much weight on him as UFC has put on Dana White as this is the guy. So if this guy were to walk away, or if God forbid he's a part of some of these scandals going on involving WWE, who runs the show? That's one of my things. You say you had somebody or an answer.
I think they're all lines are leading to Bobby Roode. Like it's been said on some of these sources that he's been doing some of the production of some of these matches, even the main event, the Cody Rhodes um, Roman Reigns for the
Yeah.
world title. Like he's done some of the better matches that we've seen. Jason Jordan is in there too. He's not as old, or he doesn't have that much experience, but they are grooming them to, and I don't want to say grooming because
Yeah, it sounds horrible, but
a
I know
terrible
what you
word.
mean.
So,
Yeah.
but they are setting them up for success if something was to go down. Shawn Michaels is doing the same thing with Ava. Like, we know Ava is the face of NXT general management mode, but William Regal is right there behind her, being like, okay, this is this, this is that. Shawn Michaels is there guiding her hand, and she's becoming a GM in her own right, like type stuff. So like, there's
Yeah, but she
other.
ain't gonna be legit. She ain't gonna be legit.
We can't say that. We said the same thing about Stephanie when she took over SmackDown, and she was one of the greater SmackDown GMs of all time. We said this about who was it? Who was it? Stone Cold was the Raw sheriff or whatever the fuck. Commish, Mick Foley, like there's a lot of people that just on screen, but they had the people in the back helping them get to there. Remember when William Regal was first the commissioner of WWF back in like they set
Yeah.
him up for success to do what he's done with NXT and AEW in that same respect. So, it
But
just goes to show.
The Rock is an aspect to this because he's gonna be the guy say, I love the business, all that. But when you think about The Rock, and one of my other fears of this is that he will have too much of a role to play. Like he's gonna insert himself. Like he already tried into this main event to insert himself into the main event, have him and Roman Reigns, and ruin the whole Cody story. They fixed it, they turned him heel and whatnot. But the whole issue will be a lot of stuff The Rock does turns into train wrecks when he entered the DC universe as Black Adam. He was always like the hierarchy's gonna change. He fucking made them scrap everything after Black Adam. The Fast and Furious franchise, him and Vin Diesel have been at odds since the beginning of that. I know he's bought more share in WWE. I just see The Rock actually becoming an issue, as in this is the way I want things to be, and interfering with the day to day of WWE, and may even interfere with Triple H in his day to day business of being chief content officer, and maybe overstepping because these are all his boys. Nick Khan, Ari Emanuel, these are all The Rock's people, and he could become a major issue in this new era.
I think there's a matter of respect that people don't understand that The Rock and Triple H do have with each other. And I'm not going to even say The Rock and Triple H. Paul and Dwayne are going to be the ones running the company, right? And since Dwayne is going to be running the business side of things, Paul is going to be the Vince McMahon day-to-day operations and everything of that nature. When it comes to this, The Rock has his hands dipped in so many different other pots that it's going to be difficult to focus on just this one thing. And if it would be anybody that he can trust to take care of quote unquote this baby, then it'll be Paul to do the work there. So, and then that's up to Paul. That's up to Michael. Well, I'm talking about Shawn Michaels. It's up to Paul and Michael to freaking do the due diligence to have the next man up behind them. So, like, helping out a Robert Roode, helping out a Jason Jordan, helping out a Jamie Noble, and also, like, it it shows the wrestlers themselves. I was having a conversation with somebody about what these people are going to do once they retire, and I'm talking about the newer people, the Grayson Wallers, the Austin Theories, Bianca Belairs, Rhea Ripley. What happens after wrestling? Bianca Belair already set herself up for success by making gear, so she can be a seamstress well after her years of WWE services is done, type stuff. So, like, if everybody could just pick up something, like, you talk about the bump and all these other people, Grayson Waller, Austin Theory could do that all day after they finish, and that's no pun intended to Austin Theory. But, like, you see what I'm saying? Like, everybody's setting themselves up for success after life in the ring. Xavier Woods is a perfect example as well. Up, up, down, down. Making something out of nothing. Dakota Kai and Zelina Vega have their thing on YouTube and stuff like that. They're doing their stuff. So setting yourself up for success after. A lot of guys didn't have that back in the day. I think that they do have it now, but it's about what they do, not how they do it. So.
All right. So those are some of the things, but I think the whole new era, I think it's going to work out. I think it's going to be business usual. Like you said, there are some concerns, like I brought up. These are going to all come out. Like the positive, I feel, outweigh the negatives a lot in this new era.
I really don't trust the Netflix deal. Like, 2014, I was one of the first people to buy the WWE Network. Like, $9.99. I was that guy. I bought it.
Perfect.
It was the perfect app. I didn't have no other apps.
Yeah.
You don't have Netflix? You don't have Hulu? No, I just have the network. And I absorbed it because it had a great interface. You could go back to anything. I mean, all intents and purposes, Peacock is doing that. But once that Peacock deal happened, I was like, oh, what the hell? The interface is all fucked up. It's all jacked up. I'm like, come on, man. What Netflix going to do any different?
Yeah, let's see what Netflix does, because that's probably the biggest concern. One of the bigger concerns. I know we brought up the Riot or whatever, all that. Netflix is like, to me, what is that going to be like? What's the world without wrestling on national TV going to be like? The main show, Monday Night Raw.
Yeah, Raw has been on television since we were both kids. Like,
yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like, it's weird. It would be weird. Like, will this be something that people forget about? It's just going to become content, like on Netflix.
Something that was guaranteed. If there's something that was guaranteed every Monday at 8:00 on whatever channel, Monday Night Raw is on.
Yeah. Now you don't have that. You just go to Netflix and you're going to see, are there going to be a bunch of ads? Or are there going to be commercials? Will Netflix charge for pay-per-views? Like, we don't even, like, will they go to ESPN Plus route and be like, oh yeah, this is a premium live event or whatever, but you're going to have to pay $49.99 if you want to see this year's Elimination Chamber or Money in the Bank or something like that.
That's what they did back in the day.
Squeeze everybody out.
That's what they did back in the day. Yeah, you paid for this whole app that we already charged you $21 for. Oh, by the way, this is a premium pay-per-view, so now you got to pay an additional $60-$70 to get this. And not only to get it, but you can only get it one time. If you want to own it, you got to pay the $100 to own it. Like, no.
Yeah, like I don't think you're going to be able to own it, because digital, everything's digital. They've already stopped the process of digital, physical copies of DVDs and stuff. I think if they were to sell, let's say, Wrestlemania XL in physical form on DVD, Blu-ray, or whatever format we're going to be in, they're gonna charge probably like $300 to get this complete box set with documentaries and all that, and you just be like, nah, I just want to go. I just want to, put this in my DVD player. I know it's old to say DVD player, but put it in my Blu-ray.
We're on the Blu-ray era now. We on Impact with the blue before the
Yeah.
owl.
But only time will tell. We're very early in this. We'll come back to revisit where we had the new era in 2 to 3 years when Netflix is in full stride and we're like, oh, what? Oh, it wasn't so evil. It wasn't evil at all. They didn't care. They just let it go. Or if it's just like random content on Netflix behind everybody's favorite cold case murder documentary or whatnot, and it's just like, oh, there's Raw. There it is. It fits right here. And we gotta see how they handle live streaming. I know they have the Mike Tyson Jake Paul fight coming up soon.
Who, Netflix, right?
Yes, through Netflix Live, and we gotta see how they
Oh
handle that
wow.
one. And if it blows their service, but it's a nice test run before they get WWE programming and see how they do that.
Yeah.
All right.
Somebody got to go in a body bag.
Yeah. Jake is gonna win, man. It's gonna make me sick. It's gonna make me sick. It's gonna make me sick. Moving on to the next topic I want to talk about. This was the end of the Roman Reigns tribal chief era. Essentially, he lost the title after 1,000 and some days, passing everybody in their books except for Bruno Sammartino and Hulk Hogan, Bob Bag. The people who are never going to get beat. They're never going to get beat in our lifetime. I don't think Cody's going to have a long reign. I don't think WWE's going to have any more of these long reigns for a bit after Gunther's loss and
and a weird
Roman's loss.
666 days. That's weird.
Yeah. But I'm going to ask you, where do you think Roman Reigns' title reign, that sounds so weird, ranks? It's like a tongue twister. Roman Reigns' title reign ranks amongst world champions in the past. Where do you have it?
Greatest of all time.
Ooh, right off the jump.
Greatest
Without
of
hesitation.
all time. Great. It was the greatest run I've ever seen anybody have, and I watched John Cena in 2006. Okay, it was the greatest run that I have ever seen anybody have. And you can question, you can debate on, he didn't win all his matches, he barely defended it, and blah 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 blah. The reign. We're not talking about was it the best defenses and stuff like that. We're not talking about the, who came in whose match and why he won. The fact of the matter is that he was the champion for all of those consecutive days. And it is literally like, he built literally an empire. And I hate saying the Romans empire. He literally built an empire behind him from the time that he came back from remission the first time, because remember, he never really lost the title. If they wanted to slap his title reign before, like, he had the remission of leukemia, they could have slapped that on there too, but they didn't. From the time he came back from that remission, beating Braun, beating Bray, rest in peace, winning the Universal Championship, making the Universal Championship the not something title to that is the title. 3 years came and went, 3 or 4 years came and went, and Roman Reigns has been the champion at every single WrestleMania from that time. Like,
he's had a hell of a run.
You went to Royal Rumble to win the Royal Rumble to lose to Roman Reigns. Like, come on, bro.
Yeah. To second your opinion, I'm going to also agree. In my lifetime, it's the greatest title reign probably of all time, just in general, of any wrestling promotion I've seen. And you can go from
better
any
than Okada's,
indie, WCW,
better
anybody that had a run.
Better than Okada's, better than Jay Lethal's Ring of Honor Championship run, which was great. Better than Jay Briscoe's, rest in peace, his Ring of Honor Championship run.
Better than Samoa Joe's Ring of Honor
better
run.
than Samoa Joe's Ring of Honor run. And that's saying something. Like, we're talking 2003 Samoa Joe. Like, that Samoa Joe title run. We're talking better than Misawa, better than Tanaka, better than Hogan, Inoki. Like, we're getting there. Like,
I'm not old enough to see what Bruno did, but I'm going to say for the record, in my lifetime, I'm going to put my lifetime in this. Pedro Morales, Bob Backlund, and Bruno Sammartino. I can't say what they did because I wasn't around for that and how that made people feel. They were just in,
So to that respect, right? the only person really that you can compare this to would be Bruno, right? Because Bruno was doing what Roman is doing now back then.
Yeah.
Like it's comparable. It's like, Bruno was main eventing and selling out Madison Square Garden all the time. That didn't happen. That
Yeah.
didn't happen. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like he
Yeah.
Bruno Sammartino's on the card, you're going.
They're
Roman
going.
Reigns
You
is
go to
on the
Madison
card.
Square Garden.
Roman Reigns is on the card, you are going.
And I think that's what the most important thing about his title reign was, is that I could practically name every single person he defeated and of course eventually lost to Cody, but every feud he had in the story. I think the reason it's the greatest is the consistency of storytelling and character that he brought to the dance from
And he
all the way
developed
back
it.
to the beginning to all the way to this end that's coming up. And it may not be the end. It seems like it's the end, but he may have more left in him and he may continue. But of this run, you may go, wow, you can remember every single feud that he had, everything his hits, whether it's Jay Uso, Kevin Owens, Brian Danielson, or
Daniel
Edge, and
Bryan, Edge,
the Uso brothers, the Civil War and the Bloodline, Cody, Finn Balor. You can remember when he fell off that turnbuckle. Like everything just
Bray Wyatt,
burns
rest
in
in
there.
peace,
Yeah,
Braun Strowman, Goldberg, Brock. Like it just,
it
come
all
on.
hits, and you just go like, "Wow, what a!" I mean, at the time of some of these feuds, whether it's around the mid 30s where he's beating Triple H or whatnot, you go like, whatever. But I'm talking about the Tribal Chief run alone. Best storytelling of any character in maybe the history of wrestling. And Undertaker had that claim was like, oh, me and Kane or something, or Shawn and Triple H feud and rivalry, or even the John Cena run and all his rivalries. It's just the consistency of this character of the Tribal Chief that it comes to an end with Shield music hit. You see Shield step Rollins, and he has to hit him in the back instead of hitting Cody because it already beaten Seth Rollins. He just had to get that payback, that one more shot to the back because you
Technically,
wrecked
he
the
didn't.
Shield. You ruined my life. You
You ruined
ruined
my
my
life
life.
from that moment, from that very
Yeah,
moment that Seth decided that he was going to crack Roman Reigns in the back with that chair. It set those two up to
yeah,
be the next in
yeah.
line.
They're opposites. This is Savage and Hogan, all of this era of like these are the two people who are they're carrying it on their own, and then but they're always feuding and they're always interacting with each other.
And
And whenever Roman come back, him and Seth are going to collide. Or even if Seth comes back and he collides with Cody, that handshake at the end of thank you for your sacrifice for me to beat the Tribal Chief because it took all of us to take this man down. He was the Thanos.
like
It was an incredible
it's
run.
it's one of the greatest runs of all time in all of wrestling, and it's not even up for debate at this point. And the only people that could debate it are in the ground or they're old as hell. Like, they're not even doing
Yeah,
anything.
like I was around for some of Ric Flair's run as world champion, but
What was
he would
what was
lose
Ric
and
Flair's
win, and
and what was Ric Flair's run? Huh?
I don't know.
A bunch
I
of
wasn't
a
around
bunch
for some of it.
a bunch
I
of
was too young.
a bunch of DQs, a bunch of DQs, and hour-long matches that, like, oh, time limit ran out. So
Yeah,
that's Ric Flair's run,
yeah, and
and
you recognize him as the world champion. Yeah,
this is not a discredit to Ric Flair. This is not a discredit to anybody that held the title and they don't have a run because, like, the argument could be made that Ric Flair did I mean Roman Reigns did a Ric Flair run during this run. But the fact of the matter is that anytime that he did go between those ropes, he did pin Matt's shoulders down to the mat for the 1, 2, 3. He did
yeah,
leave the champion, so it does not matter what happened. The reign of Roman Reigns is the greatest of all time.
yep. So with that being said, I want to talk about some WrestleMania stuff, or not WrestleMania stuff, just the next 10 years of WrestleMania. Who's going to own WrestleMania? Because I feel like there's always someone that owns it for 10 years. For 1 through 10, it is the disgraced Hulk Hogan. I like to add that to
Disgrace.
it.
J.K. Smush somewhere punching the fucking.
But he was WrestleMania. He was WrestleMania at a point. You can't take that away from him with all his history. It's kind of like when you say think WrestleMania, you cannot not think of Vince McMahon, even though they are disgraced. They are. They were the beginning of WrestleMania. There's the history to that. So
Yeah,
1 to 10 is Hulk Hogan, 10 through 20. I gave it to Steve Austin. There's a lot of elements like we talked about this in the pre-show. It's a team effort because you do have the NWO, you do have The Rock, you do have all this stuff going on in between there. But it's Steve Austin who's was the main character for about 6 to 7 years of that WrestleMania after he defeated Shawn Michaels, or even you can go back to when he had the I Quit match with Brett. That was
that's
like
WrestleMania 13. Yeah, 13 set it up.
Yeah,
I
this
mean,
is
his debut. If you want to go further than that, his debut at 11. Like
yeah. Like
So
there is all that going on, and you be like, oh, Steve Austin had it. And then from 20 to 30, it's clearly John Cena. He had one of the best 10-year babyface runs ever, from becoming U.S. champion like at 20 to world champion at 21 to blah 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 blah. Great match after great match, made event, big match, John, y'all stuff, and being much maligned through a lot of it. People hated this man through much of his run, his 10-year run, to only get his flowers today as being a great world champion and a great professional wrestler. Now, 30, as we were talking about, is the Roman era, as in Shield 30, 31. He's fighting for the world title. People hate him. He's fighting Brock. He's getting booed. Seth cash in, they're happy. He finally gets the title at 30, or not finally, he'd already been champion, but he wins the title at 32 against Triple H. Kind of retires the Undertaker at 33, but not really. 34, let's run it back with Brock. Booed out the building again. 35, coming back from leukemia, which is always missed. Beating leukemia for a second time, basically. To beat Drew McIntyre. 36, COVID. He's gone.
COVID mania.
Yeah.
COVID mania happened.
We're in the middle. We begin the Tribal Chief run. He's with Paul Heyman for 37, and him and Brock have their best main event. 38, he stacks up Adam Copeland and Bryan Danielson, or Edge and Daniel Bryan, whatever you want to say. He stacked them up, and when people were offended by it, but people, you know what? I like this guy. 39, he prevents Cody from finishing his story and whatnot. And everybody's like, oh my God, I can't believe he beat him. And hindsight 2020, I was one of those guys going, what the fuck? And realizing, no, this is where we're at. This is where we're at. It deserved to go longer.
What would have happened if Roman Reigns pinned Cody Rhodes' shoulders to that mat at WrestleMania 40? What do you think
Anarchy.
would have happened?
All the goodwill of this new era coming in and all that. People are saying Vince would be still in charge. Cody should never destroy the throne. I think there will be some people who are happy to see Roman continue to go and to continue to pass Hulk Hogan. There's part of me that still wants that, that still wanted that, but it had to finish here. This was the absolute time. And I think the plan was, at the original day, for him to go all the way past Hulk Hogan, because we were about to get that Rock match, and he was going to beat The Rock. He was going to beat The Rock.
He was going to beat The Rock.
This was going to continue. So
that would leave Cody in a compromising predicament of trying to win the Royal Rumble for a third time, the trilogy.
Yeah.
Which all good trilogies happen, right? Got to have the trilogy. Even though he would have won the next year, but could the fans be patient enough for next year?
Nah, I think 41? It was time to give us Return of the Jedi, Return of the King. We had to finish it. We had to do Endgame at this one. Otherwise, Anarchy, all the goodwill, all the big business they would have did. Cody does not he didn't have to technically win the title at WrestleMania to quote unquote finish his story. He could have won it on any show. He could have won on fucking Backlash and it would have been the same thing, or in Saudi Arabia. But everybody wanted that WrestleMania moment for him. He built a lot of goodwill in his run throughout the year and all that, and so it happened. I know some people may not still want the Tribal Chief to be in there, but it's a minority of who like Roman had to continue this. But it was a hell of a run. And so, Jamal, I asked you, from 40 to 50, Who do you got being that bookend owning WrestleMania spot? And it could be any wrestler in the world today, in any company, in any planet. Who do you got being like, damn, they owned it for those 10 years?
I'm looking at three people. Three.
Okay.
One of those people is Braun Breaker. Braun Breaker has that it factor that a lot of people either they see it or they don't see it. And for those that do not see the Braun Breaker factor, watch out. It's gonna be a hell of a fucking
Yeah.
ride for you.
Man moving rings when he hits the ropes.
This man about to do some amazing things. Somebody from outside of WWE, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking at Shota Umino to do some great
Coming
things.
into yeah.
Not coming to WWE, but just like running the years. Like it's because we talk about John Cena, but a lot of people don't know that during that time, Okada is right there doing the same thing, only on the opposite
Tanahashi
side
as
of the
well.
world. Tanahashi was already the Stone Cold, The Rock.
Yeah, he was rising
he was
up.
already there.
He was saving New Japan while John Cena was running, WWE back
Yeah.
then.
So like you see the comparisons there, but Shota Umino or the new Musketeers, which would be Yota Tsuji, Shota Umino, and Yamura, Yuta Yamura from Just Five Guys. So like those guys are going to shift the way that Japan moves in the next 10 years. And maybe one of those guys might come over to WWE sometime soon.
Maybe.
I'm going to toss a woman out here, right? I'm going to toss a woman out here. And that woman is not who you think I'm going to say, because a lot of people think I'm about to say Jade Cargill right now. No, I'm not. Okay.
I wouldn't even. I wouldn't put her in there.
Yeah.
She's like Luger to me right now.
Tiffany Stratton has the opportunity to be the next woman up. She's worked her ass off for like the better part of 3 years now, and she was already this good. So be on the lookout for her to do what Rhea Ripley's doing, to do what Bianca Belair did, to do what Charlotte before her and Paige and all these. Tiffany Stratton. You got to look at Tiffany Stratton.
Yep. I was gonna I thought we were gonna have completely different lists, but it's very similar, except for one thing different. I have Braun Breaker because I feel like why not? Oh, it's two things different. Braun Breaker, I feel like just a specimen. Just like what the fuck is this? It's too athletic. It's too athletic. It makes me sick. It makes me sick that he's this athletic.
See his dad and his uncle. God damn it, he's a genetic freak.
I'm wondering, character-wise, how far he can go. Like, I think he's gonna do it. I believe he's the next John Cena, Roman Reigns, whatever. But I'm curious if he could evolve his character like they have and become someone that really pull the audience in, similar to the way Cody has pulled people in. Like, how do I relate to Braun Breaker other than him just being a killer? Like, that's pretty much it.
Besides, my dad is the dog faced gremlin, and my uncle's the genetic freak. Like, besides that,
but we said the same about Cody. Your dad's the son of a plumber. And it's like, yeah, that's all you got. Like, I would have never, when Cody was coming back up and whatever around his time of rising in WWE, never would have thought he would have excelled to this one. I would have been, if you told me that, I'd been like, bullshit. Like, he's the biggest star in wrestling, selling $1 million worth of merchandise in Mania weekend.
Think about this. I want to take it back to 2013 when WWE 2K14 came out. I'm looking at the roster. I'm looking at some of these guys on the roster that became world champion later, like WWE world champion later on in their career. Aside from Seth Rollins and Roman being the Shield in this time, you had Cody Rhodes, Mustache Cody.
Yep.
Don't
Yeah, she Cody Rhodes. You're smoking mirrors.
You had a 3MB Drew McIntyre and Jinder Mahal,
Yeah.
both who are which former WWE champions. If you would have told us that those two, three man band, those
Yeah.
two would be world champion, we would have told you smoking rocks.
Get out of
Never,
here. Get out of here.
never in the history of history.
Get out of here. Y'all crazy. Y'all crazy.
You know what I'm
Check
saying?
this guy out. Check this guy out. Check this man
So,
putting paper bags out on people's head. He the world champion. He right now. He's everybody crying. Samantha Irving, the announcer, getting all emotional and crying that this man is winning the title for this piece of nah.
you couldn't call it. You couldn't call it.
Yeah. So my next person, I'm kind of going with the obvious guys, the people that Vince would, or not Vince, WWE would choose. God damn, that's just in my DNA. Who would Vince choose? No, but I think Oba Femi, there's something there. He has that Brock Lesnar Goldberg type of
He has
feel
to
of a
show me
monster.
something. He's
Yeah,
been
he
destroying.
still
He's
got to
been
show me more.
destroying people. He's been destroying people, but he got to show me something.
Yeah,
He's
he's still
having the
young.
same. He's having the same issue that Baron Corbin had when he first came.
Yeah, about like, oh, what's more? What's more to him? And I think there's a little bit more. I think he has more swagger to him and stuff. So I'm gonna give him a shot. I'm gonna give him a shot. I think it's very young in his WWE career that he may have a shot. And then
When,
last,
when and if he gets called up, do you think he teams with Omos or he's going right for Omos's
nah,
head?
I think Omos is gonna be long gone by the time he's called up. Omos is halfway gone already. He showed up in the Battle Royals. That's pretty much it. Uh, but we're going to see
I,
what
I
Obafemi
think
can
I
do
think
when he's
Omos
feuding
has a
with
breakout
Ivar right
year.
now.
I think Omos has a breakout year this year. Don't quote me on it, but
I'm quoting you. No, I'm quoting you on that. And I'm going to hold this to you. I'm going to come back 1 year from now. And when Omos has been released, I'll be like, what about that breakout year?
how about that breakout? But then when
How
he
about
wins a
that
slam,
breakout year?
when he wins a Slammy for freaking destroying Cody Rhodes and becoming world champion at
Yeah.
fucking like Survivor Series or something, you're gonna be like, oh, Jamal called this all this months ago.
Called the Omos breakout year as the greatest wrestler, biggest star. Damn it! Who does that?
I think Omos is gonna have a breakout year, but with Obafemi standing in the wings as the other big,
Yeah,
big Jacked and Black coming in,
yeah,
you know.
yeah. And then the last person I have, he's been around for a while. It's been over 10 years already of this guy, but he's still young. He's still only 30. I think Will Ospreay has potential to just take the world by storm. Just the promos, the athleticism, already have the matches and everything, but he could just take the world by storm if pushed properly and in the right hands. And I'm not saying AEW is the wrong hands. I'm just saying if they do right by him in this time, he could become the biggest star in all of wrestling in his time. And so of the next 10 years. So hopefully that works out for him and these people. I just think it's really tough to call because no one had this main event of 40 going Cody Rhodes, Roman Reigns, must watch television.
Will
Even back at
Ospreay,
WrestleMania 30.
Will Ospreay right now is what Kenny Omega was in 2013, 2014.
Yeah. And the thing is, you gotta maximize that. Like Kenny, what he was able to do in his time, in his tenure, build a whole promotion around him. Basically, that's how big he got. Him and the Bucks and Cody and whatever they did with AEW, they built a whole giant following
They
and promotion.
they made
Yeah,
AEW
yeah,
behind what Kenny Omega did for New Japan, made another company.
yeah.
Whether you like the company or you don't, it exists.
It exists,
And
and it's
because of
built
that,
around. It built around basically Omega having banger matches with either Jericho or Okada or even just over the
anybody
time
and
anybody.
everybody.
Yeah.
You don't
So
believe me? You don't believe me? You've ever seen a Ricochet match? Type in Ricochet versus Will Ospreay and then be amazed.
flippity.
Yeah. Flip it, flip,
Flippity do. All right, flip. All right.
flip it.
So the next question we've had, Michael Cole brought up something and it was in a passing kind of, or it may have been somebody. And he said Miss WrestleMania. There's technically not one. There's not one. Who would you say is or could be Miss WrestleMania?
First instinct goes Charlotte Flair, right? First instinct, like
Yeah.
you just go, oh, it's
She has the
Charlotte, right?
most. She has the most.
But when you look at success, that track record's not looking good, mama. So when you're looking at in terms of success, who are the two most right now concurrently successful women in
Charlotte Flair.
WWE? And I mean, like the new era, right?
Well, you
And
still
you
have
go straight,
Bianca, who's Super John Cena.
you go straight to the 2K cover.
Yeah.
Those two women, those two. If anybody was to claim that, it'd be one of those two.
Yeah. We can
Because
also
their track
argue Rhea
record.
Ripley could be the next big person that, quote unquote, owns the WrestleMania due to her already still in her 20s, but already having a Hall of Fame career, basically. Like, if you think about her WrestleMania, she's already fought Asuka, really good match. She's already fought Charlotte
Fought
twice
and beat
in two
Asuka.
really good matches. Then she has the match with Becky this year. And I don't know why I'm missing. There's an opponent I'm missing. I don't know who I'm missing. Oh, I think it's Charlotte. I just counted it twice. And she already
Well,
has
you
all of
counted it
that.
twice because she did it twice.
Yeah. So you have that, and then you have Bianca, like you said. Those two could be it. Bianca's still undefeated at WrestleMania, going with this undefeated streak. Has not been beaten yet.
You know what? And due to that purpose or that reason, right? If anyone was to do 22-0 or something like that, why not her?
Yeah, I think it's going to get hard for her. I know on their show, whatever in the highlights, I didn't actually watch the show. Her and Taz wanted to have a kid, so that might be hard. She's already 35. She celebrated her birthday today. I just saw that on Instagram. I don't even. This is coming out later today, hopefully. So it is today. So she is getting up there in age, but wrestlers are going longer in years. They're going to their 50s and 60s if you count Sting. So she has a chance to get there, but it's going to be a very difficult road. And I can see it. I can see Bianca being Miss WrestleMania and Rhea. It could go either way, depending on how their career goes and what
It's a
their
pick
personal
'em.
lives and injuries
It's
and
a
stuff.
pick 'em. It's a some people would try to deem this as, oh, it's a white black thing, and it's like, no, this is a these are two women that are revolutionizing what it means to be a women's wrestler.
They're huge. They're fucking, they're scary. I don't want to get on any of their bad side. Bianca's an athletic freak of nature. Rhea Ripley just saved our channel. All right, not to spend too much time on that. The next question is coming up this weekend, this Friday actually. New Japan's Windy City Riot. I don't know what number it is, but they're having a big show. The main event: Kazuchika Naito versus Jon Moxley for the IWGP title. Jamal, I know there's other matches on the card. It's a really stacked card, and I think most people should check this out. There's a lot that's going to be on this show, but I think this
Mustafa
main
Ali
event
versus
is going to
Hiromu
be really
Takahashi is going to be a
interesting.
highlight. Yep.
Yeah.
It's
Even
just
I think, and people are down on Jack Perry, but Shooter Umino and Jack Perry is going to probably be a really good
that's
match.
gonna surprise a lot of people, and it's because of the Shota Umino factor that I said earlier.
Yeah. I mean, we even have, I forgot who's Zack Sabre Jr. wrestling. I forgot. And
He's
I was
wrestling
like,
Matt
damn.
Riddle.
Yeah, Matt Riddle, that's gonna be good. Like, there's so many matches on this show that it's a stat card, but I think this main event could shift professional wrestling and New Japan in the right direction. Jamal, who do you have winning between Jon Moxley and Naito?
This is difficult for me, right? Because I'm a big Lij guy. Like tranquilo and all that. Big Los Ingobernables fan. Jon Moxley, if he ends up winning the IWGP Heavyweight Championship here, it's good for wrestling business, right?
Yeah.
It just is. He'll be what, the second Gaijin to be the IWGP heavyweight. No, it's like the third if you count Hulk Hogan's stupid self. No, the fourth because Brock did it, Kenny did it, AJ did it. Brock did it, Kenny did it, AJ did it. So he'll be
It's a
like
few.
he's in a high class. You know what I'm saying? He'll be in a class of his own. Um,
Jericho.
Jericho didn't win the world title though. It's the world title that we're talking about. Jericho's
Which title
probably
you talking about?
yeah, but like you
He's the
know
undisputed champion.
who
Jericho.
where
First ever undisputed champion in WWE.
in WWE. Yeah, I'm talking in freaking Japan.
Oh.
Japan
Oh,
wise,
okay. I think you said
you know.
win both in okay.
You see what I'm saying? Like he's if John Moxley is able to do this, he'll be in a short class, like a short list. You know. Oh, Kurt Angle. Kurt Angle's in there too. Wow.
So is he
Yeah,
going to do it? I think he has to.
I think he can. I think he can do it, and that's why you should watch this event because you know, looking at it, you're like, oh, Tetsuya's got that, and it's over. Like he'll go home, the crowd, boom. But there's also a new era in New Japan right now too. There's a shift. Everybody's left. Okada's gone. Freaking everybody that's old is leaving or they're just getting older and like the Ishis of the world, the Tanahashi is not really wrestling the way that he should be
No.
wrestling and stuff like that. Like
Yeah.
we don't need that no more. There's a new shift. There's Ren Narita and shows Yos, Umanos and this is just a whole bunch of new
You sound like you're
stuff.
saying words. Yo, shows, umanos, like, dominoes, and
Yo. um there's another shift. Like we say in a new era in WWE, no, there's a new era in pro wrestling, and it's all over the place.
yeah.
And if you want to keep up or try to uh, at least know what's going on in New Japan, watch this Windy City Riot. I know it's in Chicago, but it
Yeah.
does have implications for what's going on in Japan. So
Yeah.
watch that.
John Moxley has to win. It saves it. I think it gives enough buzz to AEW and New Japan. The Forbidden Door pay-per-view is coming up, whatever, later this year. I think him as champion sells more tickets. I think it makes more sense. I think it gives, just that extra push that AEW needs if John's carrying the IWGP title. And I think New Japan, as they transition to this new era, whoever knocks off John Moxley, whether it's Yuta Soji or Shooter
They'll be
Umino or even
solidified.
Zack Sabre Jr., any of these people, it makes them a made guy.
They'll be solidified because this is a guy that has won the WWE Championship. This is a guy that's won the AEW World Championship. This is a guy that if he does win the IWGP, he's in a small class of people who've done those things.
Yeah, he's one of the
So
most popular wrestlers in the world too. So that doesn't.
and he's a tough son. He's a tough cover. He is a
Yeah.
tough cover. You just don't win against John Moxley. You have to win. You have to. He's not going to give it to you.
He lost to CM Punk.
A lot of people lost to CM Punk.
Yeah, but CM Punk gets injured after every match.
A lot of people lost to CM Punk.
I
Don't give me that.
know. I just like saying that. I like throwing that in there.
John Cena lost to CM Punk, and then he got smoked by Mike Gall in the Octagon.
Mickey Gall.
Mikey Gall.
God rest his soul wherever he's at. Anyway,
Big
big weekend coming up. I mean, you even have UFC 300, which we could cover on this show.
Oh man!
It's just good time for combat sports. Legit and not legit.
Speaking of, TKO Group is doing big boy things. You know what I'm saying? They got WWE. They got the back of WrestleMania, UFC 300 coming along. It seems like the merger was money
big
good.
Business to not take it away from Mercedes Moné. This is big business right here. What TKO is doing.
I hate her new theme song.
I hate it so much. I hate it that she ruined Walter's song and everything. I hate everything about it right now. I hate the CEO chants in it. I don't even want to get into that.
Oh my god, that shit is so trash.
Anyway,
What happened
That
to
concludes our show
Monday?
today. This felt like 3 episodes in one. We covered so much. I don't even know. I may even separate the episodes, but then again, the timetable for some of the stuff we say may not make sense. So I don't think I think it's impossible to separate. But it was so much jam packed in this show. But if you want more of this man has just completed his 100th episode of Mid Card Mess podcast. Congratulations on that. If you would like to see that or listen to that podcast, go to SoundCloud.com. You can read it down there and talk about the Mid Card Mess podcast, featuring and starring the one and only all three faces of Jamal. Depending on how he feels, you may get one face or the other. You may get one in the face. Who knows? You can find me on this channel with the Lord Manny Hayes and Eric on Thursday and Saturday, where we go in depth and review each of the weekly wrestling shows. And I'm sure we're going to have a lot to say about this week's NXT and this very controversial episode of AEW Dynamite, where we see the backstage footage of Jack Perry get choked out for whatever reason. For reason. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the show. Thank you for all the new subscribers. We're at 200. We'll probably be at
200K. 200K. All that hard work.
by the end of May. Yeah.
Hard work. Hard times, that is.
Shout out to the Lord Rhea Ripley for pulling her pants up and stubbing it in Nia
Giving
Jax's
us
face.
teats and cheeks, giving us likes and views.
Yes. It never fails. It never fails. But we thank you guys. You guys have a good rest of your day, evening, life. See you guys later. Bye.